Worse than anyone realizes, eliminating the debt ceiling is the catalyst for our nation's demise. The debt ceiling wasn't raised; it was temporarily eliminated. Our government is spending is out of control. They can never uh, 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 stay within budget. They have to keep raising the debt ceiling, or what they did now, eliminating it, because no one spends money worse than the government. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store where I have I Will Not Comply t-shirts. All right, let's talk about this news. For the last 2 years, I've been watching minions of the power that be to see when they would make their big move. They installed Joe Biden for a reason, and it isn't just because he has been the most compromised man in Washington, D.C. for the last decade, for at least a decade, I should say. They needed someone who they could fully control with no reservations, and we all know he doesn't have all his faculties, so who better than Biden? But if the handlers assigned to him by the globalist elite cabal told him to nuke Moscow, there would be Trident 2s in the air within minutes, no questions asked. Knowing that since at least the 1970s, and likely much earlier than that, the cabal has been pushing for a multipolar world ruled by 10 regional powers that answer to centralized leadership, it behooves us to uncover their plans to eliminate America. A huge part of those plans include modern monetary theory that would not only end the U.S. dollar's status as the world reserve currency, but would simultaneously propel multitudes of Americans into a state of complete dependency on government. And that's what they want. If the debt ceiling deal passes this week, it would be fairly safe to assume that this is it. This is the next big piece of the puzzle to take down America. To understand this, we have to examine the dynamic that's now in play. The vast majority of people who are paying attention assume that there would either be a debt ceiling increase or default. As it turns out, neither is the case. Instead of raising the debt limit, Kevin McCarthy and Biden-Harris regime removed the debt limit altogether until January 2025. Once this debt deal is signed, there will be no cap to how much government can spend. I mean, I can't believe they would agree to a deal like this. Well, actually, I can. They all bought and paid for. As long as they keep printing money, they can keep spending money. As long as they keep spending money, they'll keep printing money. The door is being opened for modern monetary theory to take hold in America now. Oddly, only a handful of conservative lawmakers, independent journalists, and patriotic social media influencers are even talking about the fact that the debt limit will be effectively eliminated. Most of those who have noticed are looking at it from the wrong angle. They're generally saying that this move by McCarthy and Biden is for the sake of public relations, so they don't make headlines about raising the debt limit by $4 trillion. But that's just icing on the cake, at least from the perspective of the globalist elite cabal. The real reason McCarthy, Biden, and the uniparty swamp are supporting this is to prepare for the next phase of the Great Reset. Y'all know I've been talking about this for a while now. Go ahead and grab your tinfoil hat if necessary, as I'm about to go into fringe thinking about what's happening. Okay, so eliminating the debt ceiling for 20 months does two things. First, it streamlines the uniparty swamp's ability to carry out the spending needs of the powers that be. All it will take is another pandemic, war at any level, more bank failing, the so-called climate change crisis, or some other, quote, emergency for them to instantly turn the money printing presses to ludicrous speeds. I mean, look what happened under the pandemic. The second thing this does is give us so-called conspiracy theories a date by which their machinations will be ramped up to overdrive. We already had some idea of the timeline because of Agenda 2030. Now we have a moderate level of confidence that they will do something massive in 2024. They might even do it in 2023. What is it? It's hard to tell. These demonic types are quite clever. As I noted before, I didn't even consider options outside of raising the debt ceiling or defaulting. While I was busy gaming out how either scenario would play, the powers that be were busy throwing the ultimate economic curveball. We must fight this. For now, we need to make sure the assumed good guys in D.C., if there's any left, who are trying to stop this, are aware of just how bad this might be. Congressman Chip Roy and the House Freedom Caucus come to mind. Senator Rand Paul appears to be opposed to it, thank goodness. Alert them that it's not just about giving McCarthy and Biden the ability to spend like drunken sailors, a phase I've seen used several times on social media the last couple of days. This is far worse. It's important to understand that this is very different from past episodes of government kicking the can down the road. The uniparty swamp with access to unlimited money can do massive amounts of damage in a month or two. Unfortunately, they don't need to rush because this debt deal they'll have until January 2025 to collapse our economy. Arguably, the biggest roadblock to making people see what's really going on is the false belief that there simply can't be that many people in Washington, D.C. who are involved and in the know. Those who think this way give far too much credit to our politicians. The vast majority of them have no idea what's really going on. They're doing as they're told by their own globalist elite cabal handlers, and they're doing so uncritically. The same can be said for corporate media, of course. Another roadblock is to seeing this for what it really is, falls on our inherent instincts to support what our tribe supports and oppose what the enemy tribe endorses. This is why McCarthy and others went on shows to claim the Democrats are mad about this deal. Other than some of the more outspoken radical leftists, we haven't really seen a lot of objections from their side. The limited objections we are hearing from some Democrats and corporate media work to keep the masses ideologically herded. If most Republicans on Capitol Hill are in favor of the plan, while Democrats like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are against it, then it must be good, right? Wrong. We need to take a stand. Unfortunately, there isn't much time. Use whatever channels you have available to you to alert people. Call on patriotic representatives in D.C. to act on America's behalf and help get this message out to those who need to hear it and anyone else who is willing to listen. It's not hyperbolic when I say this could be the catalyst of our nation's demise. We can pray this isn't. We can hope for the best, but either we need to fight the good fight any way we can. Hopefully, some will step up and try to make an impact before it's too late. So get this message out. Let people know what this debt ceiling deal is really about. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.